Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, on behalf of Rail Business, let me have the pleasure of welcoming all the esteemed guests from railways as well as the industry. It is an honor for Rail Business that Chairman Railway Board, Shri Arunendra Kumar, has graced the occasion with his presence, found time from his busy schedule and has agreed to give away the Products of the Year 2013 awards. We are also honored to have amongst us several stalwarts from the railway fraternity. Shri L.K. Sinha, ex-member mechanical, Shri Chandrika Prasad, ex-AM signal. Although this hall is full of luminaries, and all of you deserve our thanks for your presence, may I begin the proceedings by requesting the Business Manager of Rail Business, Mrs. Rajni Raina, to welcome Chairman Railway Board with a bouquet.
Hey, Suma, go that side. Go that side.
Chairman Railway Board, Mr. Arunendra Kumar. Thank you very much. May I also request Mrs. Raina to welcome Shri A.B. Garg, MD Knorr-Bremse India, as a representative of the industry. Mr. A.B. Garg, MD Knorr-Bremse India. Madam, may I request you to please welcome Shri L.K. Sinha, ex-member mechanical, who has been quite a force behind this rail magazine. And I'll trouble you a little more to welcome Mr. Chandrika Prasad, ex-AM signal. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Rail Business started in 2010 and has entered into its 5th year of publication. Supported by the Asian Railway Association, the magazine has now become an essential part of the top and middle level manager's desk. So much so that now one looks forward to the next issue. Rail Business has an in-depth coverage of news, achievements, technical issues, food for thought, heritage, travel law, and you name it. It is a complete rail magazine. Today, we have got together for giving recognition to the products of the year of 2013. This is the underlying theme of the presentations which will be given very soon. We are going to have a series of presentations beginning with the one from the editor of Railway Magazine, Mr. Vijay Raina. The one man who's behind this magazine, who visualized it, who visualized the need for information sharing between the railway network. May I request Mr. V.K. Raina to please come and present his thoughts.
Namaskar everybody, thanks for being here, and my particular thanks to the boss of the bosses, the chairman of the railway board, Mr. Arunendra Kumar. Special thanks to the ladies and guests who have flown all the way out of Calcutta and were here. The whole evening today is designed on the need for product development and research in the railway sector, something that is close to all our hearts. I'm presenting a short report and or presentation on what I feel, and this will be followed by similar thematic presentations. We're keeping them short so that you can get in time for the entertainment and the dinner. The General Manager Southeastern has very kindly laid out. One thing before I start with my presentation, it's normal to thank everybody, but let me thank Sumit for being such a help, because anything which goes wrong this evening is on his responsibility, and everything that is good about the evening is because of Mr. Radheshyam and me. So we know who to blame for everything that goes bad. As it is, Sumit is already in trouble with his boss, but a little more trouble would harm him. So let me present a short resume of where the Rail Business magazine is and where we think it can go in coming time. Next, please. Next. Okay, well, what have we achieved in the last 4 years? We have done 24 issues. If you go to the Facebook page for Rail Business India, you will find that there are something like 29,000 likes. When I saw this a few months back, I was myself surprised, because these sort of add on. Why is it happening? Is because we are on the web, and through the Google advertising program, we're getting around 5,000 clicks per month. That means 5,000 persons load the magazine site. Whether they read it, I have no means of knowing. But that is in addition to the 1,500 hard copies that we're doing. There's crowd support. Now, the crowd support these days means that आप राह चलते आदमी को बोल दीजिए कि भैया मेरी मदद कर दो, वो आपकी मदद कर देता है. So I am working this magazine, and my wife and I are working this magazine with crowd support. So I go to GMDLW and say, sir, please मेरे को ये article दे दीजिए, he agrees. I go and with folded hands, तभी आवाज़ में low blood pressure से CIB साहब के पास जाता हूँ कि सर थोड़ा सा मदद कर दीजिए. He looks at me, takes pity on me and says, yes. Then I show my full blood pressure and say thank you very much in a very loud voice. That is what is crowd support. I request Sumit कि बेटा तुम पोजीशन तुम्हारी खराब है, रोज डांट पड़ती है सीएम साहब से, तब भी जरा थोड़ी मदद कर दो. He raises his hand. Now that's crowd support. And what is more important, that I have a positive financial bottom line. That means I am, thanks to the advertising support I am getting from the people, some of them you will meet today, I'm able to push the magazine on an equal financial footing. Next, please. Why this award? I am about 60, तो कई लोग कहते हैं सठिया गए हो. I say yes, सठिया तो गए ही हैं, गवर्नमेंट का कानून है. But why this award? What is the need? Is it just a shosha, a PR effort, or is it something which we can collectively achieve? Next. Let me give you some hard facts. Just to research a couple of months for an article, I looked up the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. They publish an annual report, it's on the web. So I downloaded the copy and looked for the word railways in it. Searching is easy. The answer was, sorry, I can't find railway or rail or anything. It's around a 100-page report, lots of data, but there's nothing like railways in it. Which gives us to the harsh fact that the export situation on the rail front is poor. This annual report also tells us about the import and export. There's no railway categorization, but my guess from the various things was that our imports are 9 to 10 times what we export from the rail sector in India. I'm talking of the rail sector. The position in automobile sector, software sector is of course a different story, but automobile sector is much better. Indian brand recognition is low. Now if you think why it is so, then you see the need for event or award like tonight's. Next please. The chicken and egg story, which comes first? Do you earn money out of your product first, or do you spend money into the product first? It's a chicken and egg story for every senior management at the strategic level. Do you pump in money into research and then hope that you'll get a return in 3 or 4 years down the line? Or how do you manage the research and development cycle? Next please. Management thinks multiple times about R&D spend. Our R&D spend today, if you look at our DSO budget, it's 200 plus crore, out of which around 60-70% is staff. And so our R&D spend is currently very low. Railways particularly, but in general in the industry also the R&D spend is low. Technology is always spawned by a strategy. Big changes are triggered by technology only. Now, no administrative changes ever achieve any big things. If you look around the world, whether you talk of Microsoft, Google and all, it's technology at the back end which is driving the management, which gives the big bucks and big growth. Pure administrative actions are secondary. That's my belief. That's why I'm pushing for tonight's effort. Next. There's a thing called the National Innovations Council. Sam Pitroda heads this. I don't know what will happen in the future. The railway has a sector for national innovations, and DGRDSO is responsible for that part of the railway business. Its site says that these are the things that we should do in the country for furthering innovations. We should have discussions, debates, seminars, conferences, table the best practices. We should have subversive and irreverent dialogue. Now this phrase appeals to me immensely. Please permit irreverent dialogue in your organization and the media, and I will underline the media because rail business is just a small effort at the media, and there should be an innovation portal. Next please. Again, why this event? We should give recognition to guys who innovate. Do we do it in railways? My answer, no. And why? Let me give you my reasons. Next please. Who was Mr. Walsher? But each one of us, I don't know whether I got the spellings right or wrong, but each one of us mechanical guys learned his name the day we joined Kharagpur or Jamalpur or whatever. From the name it seems he was a German. The name sounds like German. So he invented a link motion about a steam locomotive, and they thought it fit to name it as Walscher's wall gear, and each railway engineer first memorizes spelling, then remembers the linkage, and then draws the wall diagrams and all. But who was T.N. Tandon? Mr. P.C. Sen says his colleague, and 49 by Jamalpur. Now gentlemen, outside the mechanical department, how many of you have ever heard the name T.N. Tandon? He was, in my view, as important a person worldwide as Mr. Walscher was. But we have failed to recognize our own stars. I am from Kashmir, and we say कि अपनों ने कभी पैगंबर नहीं माना है. It's difficult to recognize a star or a leader, an inventor amongst yourselves. Let me take the other example, which till I retired, I have not recognized the contribution that this gentleman has made to the railway cause. And right now I am trying to ask colleagues about him. How many of you, next? How many of you would recognize the effort that Mr. Kanjilal has done? How many of you would know which department he was from? Let me give you a clue. He was not from the mechanical department. He was an electrical engineer who ushered in the electrification, 25 kV electrification in India. But today we don't have time to go into that. Next. Why are T.N. Tandon and Kanjilal not national heroes like Walscher was, or Stephenson is an international hero? To my view, in this community, T.N. Tandon and Kanjilal and people like them deserve to be on the pedestal where go every railway week and put Phool Mala around them. in the, if I may suggest so, sir, in the Railway Board's office. Next. So the rail business thought process, this thought has been discussed with a few friends. These are baby steps. Today's effort is a baby step. It's not going to change much, but if it helps spawn similar efforts and brings into recognition, it's some help. Next. Many such baby steps are required by industry, by the Indian Railways as well as by the industry as large. Next. For these awards, we have made efforts. I had requested Mr. L.K. Sinha, Mr. Chandrika Prasad and Mr. Rakesh Chopra to help me out with the recognition of awardees tonight, and I'm grateful to all three of them for doing this. The competition this year has not been fierce, but next year I expect it to heat up because this is some effort which is novel and should catch on. We have tried to give awards to the bigger industries as well as recognize the efforts by the smaller companies, the seeding companies, because I believe that a lot of innovation happens in the smaller sector, much more in the larger sector. Next. So large scale, there's a German term, MSE, it is called Mittelständler. The Mittelständler means owner run innovations company. So you design a product and to me the two awardees today that you will see belong to this segment, that is Mittelständler. They are the self-made entrepreneurs who innovate and develop and then grow big. Next. Where can each one of us help in this process? If you agree with the thread of what I have said, what is our role, what is my role, what is your role, and above all, what is the Indian Railways Board Management's role? Next. Seek innovations and development, seek them, don't wait for them. Strategic funding for R&D. The National Innovations Council is, as per the portals and what I heard last year, was begging for requests for funding, and as far as I know, Indian Railways have not yet made much progress in this direction. So funds could be available for the asking if a right case is presented from the central government funds like the National Innovations Council. IR in the Indian context is a prime provocateur in development because we are 95% of the rail sector in the country. The metro is a small sector, but we have a constant and big brother role in the railway industry. Next, for me in rail business, my advice to myself, just don't give up. I mean, hope that this effort grows in coming years. Next. The rail business promised to the industry and to the production units in particular free coverage of all innovative developments. I've been doing it in a small way, but it's a promise that never will coverage be refused. Just drop me a mail about what you have done, big or small companies, and you will see yourself in print. And my reach is at least 7,000 guys who are connected to the rail sector every month. That's my reach. Provide a platform for backup to everybody. Let's create more Tandons and Kanjilals. Next. The dreams. Stiffer entries next year. So all the industry guys and production units, keep this in mind, and maybe around next March or so, bombard me with mails on what you've done. Award logo use in industries. There will be photo ops with the chairman for the award winners. Please use the picture in whatever manner you can do. Put it on your web page. I understand from one of the companies they will be putting out a press note tomorrow morning. It's a major company. That sort of thing gives the innovations idea a lot of traction. Gala event in coming years. 5-star, Taj, Oberoi, whatever. Pay the airfare for guests like Mr. Sinha and Mr. Chandrika Prasad when they come all the way from Delhi. Next, the standing offer. Now this is a personal offer from me. I've been doing this magazine now for 4 years. I take over rail business on retirement from IR industry. Any one of you who feels that the cause is right and you want to do it as you retire, please make an offer, and for a cup of tea, you can take over the whole thing. Next. And I have my wife's permission to say that. Walking the talk, sir, thank you very much, because I know the pressures on your time. By coming here, you have walked the talk. You said that this is important for you in your perception. Thanks for that effort and thanks for your time. Next. And keep walking. It's got two meanings, keep on the effort, but after the event, please keep on walking. I am not, legally, I'm not permitted to say any more on this phrase, keep walking. And the following presentations are also on the same theme. I'll invite Mr. Sinha to say a few words, sir. Jalke Sinha.
Thank you, Vijay. Good evening, everybody. It's a wonderful effort Vijay Ranna has put in, along with Mrs. Rana. I really appreciate the effort to bring focus to innovations by having this Product of the Year award. And thank you, Arvind, for coming here, and all the distinguished guests. It's a wonderful audience, and we look forward to a gala event next year. I've been asked to speak on R&D. No, that's not really my fault. So I think I'll leave it to the IT guys. By the way, IIT Kharagpur is my alma mater also. So let me say something alike. Vijay, in his latest issue of Rail Business, has made a fervent appeal to the Minister for Funds. Very, very relevant, very, very correct. I hope it comes through. Today I saw in the paper that 3 billion rupees is what SHM is asking for railways. Good. But no amount of fund has any meaning unless it is translated into projects and products and results. Where I think there is need to improve on the railways is our system of tendering. It is heartbreaking. I am speaking from the industry side. Champions of industries are here who are getting the awards. It is heartbreaking when you have to keep on fighting a tender for 10 years and then the tender is discharged. Please, gentlemen who are still in railways, look into this and do something about that. That is the only way innovations, funds, R&D can be translated into something useful for the railways. Thank you very much for calling me, Vijay. It's a wonderful occasion, and I wish your magazine all the success and many more awards every year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Business development, product development need cogent research. As you all must be aware, Indian Railways and IIT Kharagpur, one of the oldest and premier engineering institute, had got together and signed an MOU on railway research. We are honored to have amongst us Professor Arigide. Okay, before that, may I request our ex-AM Signal to please give a few words. After that, we're going to hear from Professor Aragya from IIT Kharagpur.
Respected Mr. Amrit Kumar, Chairman Railway Board, my colleagues from the railways, the guests from railway industries, ladies and gentlemen, the very word award brings to our mind the day when our child came running to show Mom, Dad, the book he had received as award for excellence in English or math or any other. That childish joy at receiving an award does not diminish with age. It lives with as the child grows and enters the adult world of service and jobs. And he looks forward to that day when it will happen again. In the field of railway signaling and communication, the worldwide technological advancement is taking place so fast that the signal which we are so used to by the side of the main railway track are disappearing, they are vanishing and are reappearing in digital form in the driver's cab, providing higher speed, higher capacity and higher safety. Most of those OEMs who can bring that technological transformation are here in India. I see some of their stalwarts here in the guests. Given more projects, more funds, more R&D support for absorption of that technology, they can bring that technological transformation on Indian Railways earlier than tomorrow. The Product of the Year award is a recognition of that zeal of the railway industries in helping Indian Railways in becoming from a developing railway to the developed railways of the world. My congratulations to the recipient of the award tonight. They have a chance to relive the sweet memory of their childhood and tell their beloved ones that their hard work has been appreciated. And we wish good luck to all the industries for their opportunity next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Professor Aragya to please come up and deliver his presentation on rail research.
Thank you, Mr. Raina, for giving me an opportunity to talk about the state of railway research for such a distinguished audience.
Basically, I'm going to introduce the center and give you some idea of the sort of work that we are doing. So the Center of Railway Research has been set up in IIT Kharagpur. Just a brief, next slide please. IIT Kharagpur, as you know, it's the oldest IIT, and the IIT is up till now, for 10 years up till now, we concentrated mostly on undergraduate research, but now there's a distinct shift in emphasis, so we are tending to concentrate more on postgraduate work and training PhDs and MTechs rather than focusing on just teaching BTechs. So you can see the emphasis has changed, because earlier on when I was a student in IIT Kharagpur, maybe 15-20 years ago, most of our students were, at least 60% of our students were BTech students. Right now, the number has changed, it is becoming less, but nearly half the students are MTech and PhD students. We have considerable number of research projects. Our annual research funding is around 150 crores per year. Next slide. And we have set up centers of excellence. We want to focus on particular areas where we want to develop know-how, we want to develop expertise, we want to be able to do cutting-edge research, and these are the several centers of excellence which have come up over the past few years, and you can see they are highlighted. The Center for Railway Research, which came up in 4 or 5 years ago. Next slide. So this was set up by, after we signed an MOU with RDSO, and this was according to the Vision 2020 document for Indian Railways, which wants to make Indian Railways a net importer. Instead of being a net importer of technology, we want to be a net exporter of technology. And we want to develop the long-term basis for doing fundamental research work involving railways. That will need we have to come up to speed, because we haven't been doing that. But once we get there, we hope to be able to do many of the things which nowadays we look abroad in order to buy the technology. Right now, the CRR, we interact mostly with RDSO. But what we would like to do is to interact not only with RDSO, but also with Indian and foreign manufacturers directly. It should be a two-way process. We learn from them. Hopefully they will gain something from us, as well as interact directly with the various railway workshops and manufacturing units. Next, I want to talk about some of the work that we are doing. Not sure why the slide is not so clear. I hope you can see it. But basically, our idea is to build resources and develop new technology. And we have signed memorandums for 12 projects. And the total cost of those projects is around 15 crores. And the emphasis is on these following areas: high speed, heavy haul, materials, safety, and maintenance. For instance, for high speed, we are developing aerodynamic design of locomotives which can travel at 250 to 300 kilometers per hour. For heavy haul, we are trying to have a project to develop benighted steel which would be used to increase the axle load from 25 metric tons to 32 metric tons. We are trying to design a bolsterless bogie which would travel at 250 kilometers per hour for the high speed. As you know, there's considerable interest in developing high-speed rail in India. So we are doing a project on that. We are looking at safety arrangements. For instance, how to minimize the injury to passengers in the event of a crash. So we have a project on that. Several other projects in those areas. I'm going to talk about a few projects just to give you a brief idea of the sort of work that we are doing. So next slide, please. So one particular project that I'm going to talk about, it involves gauge widening problem, right? Around 2007, Indian Railways replaced their cast iron brake pads with a rubber composite brake pad. Following that, they found there was significant increase in loco wheel gauge widening. And as you know, I will not tell you that, gauge widening is a very serious problem because it can cause derailment. Why did it happen? What were the reasons for this behavior? So the RTSO gave us this project, and one of our faculty members has investigated this problem, and I'm going to present a few results about what he found. Basically, why does gauge widening occur? Because of frictional heat generation. When the brake impacts the railway wheel, there is heat generated, and that heat generation, the resultant heat causes thermal expansion, which results in gauge widening. So this project involves considerable data gathering. So some of our students spent a lot of time visiting these workshops. Some of them traveled on these railway or on the locos, and we did extensive experimentation to gather data. This is some of the data. This is an example of the sort of studies we did. Basically, we put these non-contact infrared sensors, attached them to the wheel rim in order to measure the temperature. So, and then you can see on the right, we placed sensors for the loco. We placed sensors at different wheels, and we tried to measure the temperature. We collected the data on board using a data acquisition system, and then we tried to plot the temperatures. And what we found was that there is considerable variation in the temperatures in the different wheels. Each wheel, the temperature profile, you can see the time temperature curve, it is quite different, right? The time temperature curve is quite, and this turns out to be one of the reasons for the problem. Results indicate significant increase in temperature in the wheel. So, and that apparently depends on non-uniform braking, because what we found is that the braking is never uniform, and because the braking is not uniform, there is increase in temperature, or there is delay in braking. For instance, one wheel gets the brake action, one wheel first, another wheel subsequently, and this delay in braking results in more frictional heat generation, results in rising in temperatures. Another reason was the brake pads, the way the brake pads work act on the wheels. We looked at them really closely, and what we found is that there's so many instances where the brake pads are misaligned. They're not directly acting on the wheel. And because they're not misaligned, there is non-uniform heating. And because there is non-uniform heating, there are thermal stresses. And these thermal stresses result, if they become sufficiently high, they cause plastic deformation of the wheel. So this project tells us, and what we found was that once they started using these composite brake pads, things became worse, because the composite brake pads resulted in the total heat that was generated during frictional braking. A larger portion of it was going to the wheel with the composite brake pad. But when they had cast iron brake pads, a significant portion of that heat was getting conducted away. It wasn't going into the wheel, and that wasn't causing so much of a problem. Another project that we are working on is how to improve occupant safety inside railway carriages in case there is a crash event. As you know, right now Indian Railways, we have these LHB coaches. These LHB coaches are designed to be very efficient during crashes, because they have at the two ends of the coaches, they have very deformable parts which absorb all the energy, and in the interior of the coach where the passengers are sitting, there is less energy which goes in, so it causes less damage, less injury at the center. So it's designed to absorb energy, to dissipate energy in order to cause minimum damage. So what these LHB coaches do is they reduce injuries due to the primary impact event. As soon as the crash occurs, there is less injury, but then what people have found, and this has been observed abroad also, the injuries arise because of secondary impacts. Because now after the primary impact, the passengers or the people sitting inside, they go and they strike against the objects inside the train, and that is what causes maximum injury. So the goal of this project is to try to find out if there are some ways we can rearrange the seats inside the trains, or we can add some maybe foam padding, or we can change the inclination of the seats, change the orientation of the seats so as to minimize injury to the passengers. So this is an example of the sort of results we are getting. For instance, here we have tried to see the effect of putting a lap belt to a chair car. And what we have found that if you have a lap belt, that definitely works very well if the seat is behind, it is behind another chair. It's inside, the seat is, there is a seat in front of the seat where the passenger is sitting. In which case what happens is that the lap belt, it restricts the motion of the passenger, so it doesn't go and hit the seat in front, because of which all the injury coefficients, the head injury coefficient, the chest injury coefficient, the neck injury coefficient, all of them get reduced. However, if the passenger is sitting with a tray in front, if he's sitting in a chair car and there's a tray in front, then putting a lap belt can turn out to be, can be disadvantageous. Because what happens is that, as you can see from that picture, the picture on the right, what happens is that because of the lap belt, the passenger goes and his head impacts the tray in front, the tray table in front, but because of which a lap belt actually increases the head injury. It increases the head injury index. So these are some of the, next slide please. The effect of adding foam, right? If you add a foam padding to the seat back, how does it affect the injury coefficients? We plotted the injury coefficients, and you can see that the head acceleration significantly reduces if there is a foam padding. And as I told you, that these injuries result because of secondary impacts. If you look at that curve there, you can see that initially the acceleration is quite small. Initially the acceleration is quite small, but at the end the acceleration becomes large when he impacts when he becomes secondary impact. Next slide. So we looked at seat orientations, which are the optimum orientations for the seats to minimize impact, and what we found is that the current seat orientation is probably the best, but that cannot be said. We can't say the same thing for the arrangement of the berths. Next slide. We'll skip this because I'm running out of time. Further on, please.
Can you tell me other results of all these? We know the problem. Let's come to the result part. What happens to the future?
Beach Health is a new project. We have been exploring it. The project on the seating arrangements, we have obtained some conclusions. We have shown that adding foam actually reduces injury. We have actually found out injury indices, and the project on the gauge widening, we think we have identified the causes for the gauge widening, and the process of final recommendations we are still in the process of finalizing. So it's a 3-year project. It's going to end next year at that time. And other than this, we also do some training programs for RTSO. Let's continue, please. Yes. So we have done some training programs. For RTSO engineers, we have taught courses on finite element analysis. I taught a course on finite element analysis in RTSO last February for 5 days. We have another colleague has taught a course on MATLAB. In RTSO, some certain additional courses are being planned. So that way also we hope to transfer knowledge and add to the know-how. So we look forward to active collaboration from you, but really what we look for from you is data, right? I know Indian Railways have lots and lots of data. Some of our projects like gauge widening project, we got a lot of cooperation from the RTSO engineers and from the workshop, but we know that there's a lot more data. If you can make them available to us, that would be invaluable for our research. It would help us move ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Araghu.
had a question, sir? The shelling problem? Yes, so that is a problem which has just been posed to us. And what we are, so you know, basically the shelling problem occurs because of lots of reasons. And the reasons are not clear. They can be because of track conditions, they depend on wheel profile, they may depend on the type of steel that is being used, they can depend on imperfections in the track impact load, and so we are trying to identify which are the important factors. And because there are so many factors involved, identifying which are the really important factors which are causing shelling and how they interact with each other, how if we can use a high quality steel, will it reduce fatigue damage, will it cause less shelling? So those are, it's still in the preliminary stage. Pardon me? Wheel profile. We are looking at contact areas, contact pressures.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Aragia. If there are further questions, they can be kept for the later half of the evening. We are very fortunate that the First Lady of Railways, President RWCO, Mrs. Kanta Kumar, has also graced the occasion. Madam, welcome. May I request the Business Manager, Mrs. Raina, Rail Business, to please formally welcome Madam to our midst. Ma'am, we are very honored that you could find time for us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, moving on to the awards ceremony. As Mr. Raina has pointed out, this is the 5th year of the publication, and Rail Business has decided to give recognition to Products of the Year of 2013. A core group consisting of Mr. L.K. Sinha, Mr. Chandrika Prasad, Mr. Rakesh Chopra had made the selections. And the next year is going to be a tougher year, both for the jury as well as for those who are competing. The first award on large scale for a large scale company has gone to Diesel Locomotive Works, Varanasi. Diesel Locomotive Works was established in 1961. The first BG locomotive was dedicated in 1964, and since then they have made more than 7,000 locomotives, and out of which many of them have been exported to countries like Tanzania, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. May I request the General Manager, Mr. B.B. Khare, to please come up, along with CME Production, Mr. Sahai, and say a few words about the Product of the Year 2013, the 5,500 horsepower locomotive P. Sir, please.
Respected Srimati and Shri Ranendra Kumar, Chairman Railway Board, very senior, eminent, retired officers present here, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of DLW, I am really thankful to the Rail Business, its Chief Editor, Mr. Raina, and members of the jury for selecting this product, WDG5, and recognizing the work done by the DLW. As most of you are aware, DLW started in 1964 with the manufacture of Alco locomotives. There were 2,600 horsepower locomotives. With the modification and some innovations done, this horsepower increased to 3,100, and it was tried up to 3,300 horsepower. That was one technology. With the increase in the trailing load and heavier goods train, the need was felt to upgrade this technology, and the DLW in 2002 went for a transfer of technology for 4,500 horsepower locomotive. That technology was taken from EMD USA. They call it EMD technology, General Motors technology. And we made a large number of 4,500 horsepower locomotive. Currently about 1,200 locomotives are working on Indian Railways. With the heavy haul coming, and the need was felt that we should have the higher horsepower, and with this objective in mind, the project was taken up between the DLW with the help of RDSO and the help of EMD for increasing this horsepower, and a new product of 5,500 horsepower was designed, WDG5. This locomotive has been manufactured. It has been done the oscillation trial. It has done the oscillation trial successfully up to 100 km per hour test speed, which makes this 90 km per hour the operational speed. DLW and RDSO are working together to further increase the speed to make it is 100 km as the commercial speed. That work is going on. Now this 5,500 horsepower locomotive, which would be taking up the series production during the current year, has a large number of innovative features. As in the 4,500, this is a 3-phase locomotive with the AC traction, resulting into a much less maintenance cost. It has a very compact design of the control system. We call it e-locker, where all the electronics, they come at one place for the ease of maintenance, ease of troubleshooting. The cab is a very nicely designed driver's cab, which has got the air conditioner. The cab is air conditioned, plus this has got a feature, it has got a toilet for the driver also. The first locomotive on Indian Railways is a locomotive which has got a toilet. Of course, the toilet is of a very brilliantly designed with the open discharge. We are working how to convert it into a bio toilet. So, this product, which is now 5,500 horsepower, proven up to 90 km per hour speed, which we are intending to prove it for 100 km per hour, will be probably in the years to come. The series manufacture will pick up, and probably it will replace the 4,500 horsepower technology. So I am really very happy to be here receiving this award, and this award in fact goes to all the officers and all the 7,000 employees who has worked in the DLW for manufacture of this locomotive. And this was done probably in a record time of about 1.5 years. So thank you very much, Rail Magazine and the entire jury. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please stay on. May I request Chairman Railway Board to please come up and give away the first award, the first Railway Products Award of 2013. Mr. Rana, please accompany him. The first Rail Product of the Year Award 2013, DLW, for 5,500 horsepower locomotive. Thank you very much, sir. The next award has gone to Bharat Forge Limited. Now, Bharat Forge Limited, a flagship company of the Kalyani Group, US $2.5 billion turnover, has successfully developed the 4,500 horsepower crankshaft. Indigenously developed the first crankshaft for the high horsepower locomotive. May I request Mr. V.K. Jain, the MD, to please come up and say a few words about the product. Mr. V.K. Jain, MD.
Good evening, respected Chairman, Railway Board, GMs of different railways, ladies and gentlemen. We were given this task of developing EMD crankshaft for the first time in India, and I'm thankful to Chairman Railway Board, who has put a lot of pressure on people to increase the production of these crankshafts, these locomotives, HHV locomotives, and also localize the components so that cost can be reduced on that. We at Bharat Forge is a flagship company of Kalyani Group of companies, which is having $2.5 billion turnover, and we have been doing, primarily been supplying to automobile industries, and we have been co-development partner with so many customers like Caterpillar, Cummins, all over the world. Even in India, we are doing this co-development work. And we were very happy we had put up the facilities for making this connection first time in India. And we were very thankful to GM DLW, Director Motive Power, RDSO, who have been supporting us in developing this crankshaft indigenously. And I'm happy to say that our crankshaft was given, and it was first time right. People were so happy that they found that when the crankshaft was fitted on the engine, it was run smoothly, better than the imported crankshafts on that. Today we already supplied more than 50 crankshafts which are running in the locomotives, and I'm happy to inform you that we are ready to meet all your requirements of the crankshafts, whatever you need for your locomotives. I think production is almost 300 per year nowadays on that, and I think we can meet all that requirement. We are not looking only at, in fact, there are still some of the components which are being imported by DIW. We are looking at some of the other items away from the mechanical and metallurgical items. We are going into the electricals also, and we'll come back to you what are our collaborations and joint ventures are coming on that. We are going for the world-class technologies for this. Our basic things are we want to go for technology and the investment of the equipment so that we can deliver the goods first time right and to the specifications required by the customers on that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please stay back. May I request Chairman Railway Board to please give away the prize for the Railway Product of the Year 2013. Mr. Rana, please accompany. Every crankshaft is going to save $30,000 of foreign exchange. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I've just been told earlier in the meeting that for this event, Mr. Amit Kalyani, who is the young leader of the group now, wanted to come, but because of the sad demise of our minister, Mr. Munde, he could not come because he had to attend being close friends. So thanks to Mr. Jain for coming, and thank you for all the patronage that we have received from you.
Moving on, the next award has gone to Messrs. Canard Bremse for the oil-free compressor on the electric locomotive. Canard Bremse is a manufacturer of braking systems for rail and commercial vehicles over the last 100 years. A $4.3 billion euro group spread over 27 countries. May I request Mr. A.P. Garg, MD, to please come up and apprise the esteemed gathering about the product, please. Mr. A.P. Garg.
Respected
Chairman Railway Board, Mr. Dennis Kumar, Mrs. Kumar, Senior Officers of Railways. This is an opportunity for me to present, to give an overview about Kinnaur Bremse and the product what we offer to Indian Railways. Next slide, please. Kinnaur Bremse is a world leader in manufacturing of brake systems and supplying to Indian Railways. Kinnaur Bremse was formed in 1905. A 100-year-old who is a family company who have more than 20,000 employees worldwide and have a turnover of around 40,000 crores per year. And they have two segments. One is the commercial vehicle segment, another is the railway segment where we supply the brake systems for railways. And we spend around 6% of our turnover into R&D activities, and we invest around 250 million euros every year in our investment and upgrading of our facilities. Next slide, please. Kinnaur Bremse is situated worldwide, more than 87 locations in 29 countries in 4 continents worldwide. And you name the country, we are present, whether it's America or Europe, Africa, and Asia. Next slide, please. We, in the railway segment, we supply the product related to the brake control, bogie equipment, air supplies, and hydraulics. Next slide, please. We also offer on-train and off-train solutions for railways, including the door systems and HVAC and brake systems. From the innovative side, you will see we are spending around more than 20,000 crores annually for R&D activities every year. And Kinnaur Bremse has more than 700 patents in our kitty. So you can see that how much money is being invested in the R&D activities to develop the new products and to support worldwide the railway activities. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is the oil-free compressor. This introduced in 2003. It is running more than 10,000 air compressors are running worldwide successfully. This is the award-winning product already worldwide. There is no oil there, so there is no maintenance requirement, there is no need to change any oil, and for 8 years no maintenance is required at all. Just the filter has to be cleaned every year, that's it. So this is the product which has been already introduced to Indian Railways and successfully running in electric locomotives in India. Next. About Kinnaur Bremse India. Kinnaur Bremse India was formed in 1993 and it's a 100% subsidiary of Kinnaur Bremse Germany. We are IRIS certified. We are the first IRIS certified company in India, and we have around 500 people with 500 crore turnover. And we have recently built a new facility in Faridabad, near Faridabad, Palwal. This is a world-class facility, and this may be one of the best facility Indian Railway may have in its vendor segment. Next slide, please. The new facility is around 72,000 square meters land area and 26,000 square meters the covered area. And this was inaugurated on 15th of November 2013. We have we have machine shop, assembly lines for brake control, for bogie equipment, and for many other products. So most of the products what we offer to Indian Railways are localized with by keeping the highest standard, world-class standards in the facility. We also have the world-class surface treatment plant where all the necessary components goes into that surface treatment process. These are some pictures of the quality assurances where you can see we have the incoming inspection and FAI and other equipment which takes care of the highest quality standards of the product what we supply to Indian Railways. Next slide. This is also related to quality. Next slide please. This is the IRS certification what we have received in 2009. That was the first company of Indian Railways who received the IRS certification. Next slide. We have latest equipment and VNA facilities and high-rise storage systems installed in our facility. And we have pan-India sales and service support available to quickly support to the customer, and almost 24/7 available for any kind of a support to Indian Railways. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. May I request Chairman Railway Board to please come up, and we're very sorry sir, we are bothering you again and again, but then it looks so good when you give away those prizes. It's a real recognition. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Peter receiving the award. The next in the series of awards is the... Okay, here you are.
Sorry, I had the occasion to visit this new carbon plant for Yonder. Anybody in Indian Railway workshops who wants to see what a new workshop should be like, a dream project, please visit Palwal. And I'm sure Mr. Garg will facilitate such a visit. It's a dream that our young engineers must see. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. The next in the series of awards, as Mr. Rana had earlier pointed out, are small and medium scale industries. The next award goes to Messrs. Eftronic Systems Private Limited, who had developed the system integrity test. Messrs. Eftronic Systems, a technology leader in data acquisition systems, data dissemination systems, multilingual graphics and engineering solutions. May I now request Mr. Sambi Reddy, Director, who's also an ex-railway man, to please come up and brief the audience about their product.
Respected Chairman Railway Board, Mr. Arvind Kumar, Mrs. Kumar, senior railway officials, and the representatives from industries. This is a product based on data logging. This is a computerized system integrity test of signaling systems, which is supposed to be a fail-safe system. It consists of a software loaded in a PC or a laptop and an embedded hardware which has a software in it and which is used to control the panel automatically and also change the status of the field signaling elements. Next. If we look at a signaling system, it consists of a command panel, which is command is processed by the logic wired through the relays or through the software, which ultimately controls or alters the status of the signals, points or LC gates. Next one. This is implemented in 3 phases. One is the design, other one is the implementation of the design and testing it, and third one is the installation at the site and then integrating both the logics as well as the field elements. Next. The basic document is called a table of control, which can be easily verified by each route what are the conditions to be fulfilled by the point machine or the track circuits or the signals, things like that. Next one. Those conditions are implemented by the relays. Maybe a RRI may consist of 5,000 to 6,000 relays and maybe about 1 lakh contacts and more than 1 lakh terminals which are to be chosen by the wireman when we execute the work. Next one. So then what is SIT? The SIT consists of, it takes table of control or route control chart as an input, which it takes it as a correctly designed, and it verifies the correctness of the circuit design, which may consist of hundreds of circuit sheets, and its implementation of the wiring. Next. So, what type of problems may come up while designing and then test or implementation of the testing? The omissions, certain conditions are left out, or commissions, additional conditions are added. The result is safety can be compromised, availability may be affected, and flexibility is lost. Next. A manual testing system is something looks like this. A engineer, signal engineer, sitting at the panel, instructs his helper to change the status of the signaling elements, points or signals or track circuits as per the table of control, and he sees whether the result is as per the designed document or not. So it is heavily human oriented and it consists of a day's number of days. Like a RRI at Sandragachi, it takes about 3 months to check like this. And the probability of the mistake and a human element is very, very high. Next one. So the test consists of number of them. Some of them are listed here. Next. So the limitations of the present testing system is that the certificate given is certification based. It is not evidence based actually. Whether somebody has done the test or not, whether it is evaluated properly or not, whether the result is properly or not, no document is available today. So it is the main defect at the present system is this. Next. What we have done is we have developed a software which generates a test plan. This test plan creates what are the each steps that are to take place for each test, and then this is generated by the entry of a table of control. It is a simple job, and this software controls through its hardware the status of the panel as well as the output elements, and all the combinations are tested automatically. Now this is checked through the data logger, because but for the data logger no evidence is available to look at how the system is responding. So data logger is the basic main element in this testing measurement. So the system looks like this. That the one with the blue square, in that there is a PC, a hardware, and a miniature relays which controls the panel and also the field element status. So both of them work together in as per the software program, and they generate the output something like this. Next one. It looks like this. First one is the test plan. What is the test? And then what is the operation done to carry out the test, and what is the expected result. The first on the top table is generated at the office itself. Nobody need to go to the site by simply entering the table of control. The test, when we run it on the system, is generated as shown below, the bottom one. So in this particular test, one of the relays is expected to be dropped, but it is still in picked up condition. So this is found out automatically by the software itself and declares that this test has failed. Next one. Till now we have conducted this test at about 24 stations, and this test can be done on the existing interlocking stations also, working stations. And out of that, we found almost 16 stations, we found deviations, which are mainly design-oriented ones. Almost more than 60% of the stations had, we could find out deficiencies after conducting the test by the signal engineers. Next one. So these are the places where the till now tests were done and deviations were found. Santragachi, even Vijayawada RRI, which is yet to be commissioned, that also we have conducted the test. Next. So when we sum up the things that the testing is made independent of human errors, and completeness and correctness of the testing is ensured, and we have done the de-skilling of the testing actually. The person at the test place need not be really apply his complete skill or the knowledge immediately, but he can look at the result and then again comment. And we have provided a document evidence of the testing which can be verified later after commissioning also. Next two slides I am going to show a very small product which has very relevance and safety point of it. The Saitya's accident which has happened about 4 years back, because the point was not set against the line of reception of a train, it has resulted in a death of almost 40-50 passengers. Now we have provided a alarm unit to the station master. After arrival of the train, if the station master fails to set the point against the occupied line, it gives a buzzer and warns him that he has to go and operate that point. And this is also recorded in the data logger, and then it can be sent as a position to the warning position to the control office where it can be reviewed. Next one. This is one at Cine station. This is the one which we have provided. So this is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sami Reddy. May I request the CRB to once again please come up so that we can felicitate Messrs. F-Tronics for Product of the Year Award SIT, System Integrity Test. Thank you very much, sir. Now we are coming to the last of the awards. This particular award is being given to a very young company formed in 2009 by a group of internationally experienced and highly motivated technocrats. The company is TBM Signal and Transportation Systems for their product Automatic Site Acceptance Tester. May I please request and welcome Shri P. Gopalakrishnan to please come up and say a few words about his product.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are the youngest company taking this award today, I think. Thanks. Thank you. For this brief presentation about our company and the product, on behalf of PSTS, I welcome respected Chairman Sri Arvindra Kumar and all senior officials of Indian Railways. Also, I would like to thank Rail Business Channel, especially Sri Vijay Raina and members of jury and Rail Business Channel officials for giving us an opportunity to demonstrate our product, and finally for selecting our product, Electronic Interlocking Tool Suite, as the product of the year 2013. We had started our company in May 2009 with 4 engineers and now we have grown to 148 engineers. Purpose. We have been always thinking that in every department for Indian Railways, there should be an Indian company with technology innovation. So with that purpose, we started, and our purpose was to give cost-effective, safe and quality service. Our mission to provide innovative technologies and solutions to railway signaling domain. Our mission is to provide safety systems and quality outcomes to customers and better lifestyle to employees. So try to provide more employment to Indian engineers in signaling domain. During these 5 years, we have taken projects not only in India, in other places like Australia, Malaysia, Europe and USA. We have 4 units, namely signaling, software, strategic and transportation and delivery support. We have got certified for ISO 9001-2008 in the area of our company, and we also got SME National Award for Quality Excellence during year 2012. Last month we got Karnataka government's Export Award for year 2012-13 from the Karnataka Infrastructure Minister. During these 5 years, from 1.5 crore revenue, we have grown to 32.11 crore. That was 2013-14 revenue. During these 5 years, we have also commissioned more than 135 stations of electronic interlocking in Indian Railways. We have also done more than 87 commissions in Malaysia. Electronic interlocking tools is the product that is developed to reduce the manual errors and facilitate the testing very comfortably. It is developed to automate design of electronic interlocking for railway signaling. Its main aim is to increase the productivity and quality and reduce the laborious activities performed in railway signaling domain. It is very generic and suitable for Indian Railways and all global railways. The electronic interlocking tool suite that includes EA Studio that can take any yard and any program of that particular yard and simulate from any computer, even in laptop. There is electronic interlocking simulator and automatic site acceptance tester. After the project is installed, you can use that software and test the correctness of the station. Data Design Studio, by giving the basic inputs, the baseline inputs of any station, you can bring the data out from the product, from the software. Boolean to British converter, this is the product that from the software to make our Indian railway signal engineers to figure out whether the software is correct or not. We convert as a British circuit and give it to them for approval. And for all the wiring, we just give the basic inputs and we create a interface circuits that can be straight away taken to the site for wiring. Other than that electronic interlocking, we have also developed a mini centralized traffic control and a PC based interlocking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, P. Gopalakrishnan. May I request Chairman Railway Board to please come up to the stage along with Mr. Raina and give away the final award, the final Product of the Year Award 2013. Good job done. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, may I request you to please stay back a little, and may I request all the awardees to please once again come up to the stage for a group photo. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. May I now request our esteemed chief guest of the evening, Chairman Railway Board, the head of the railway family, to please address the gathering.
Mr. and Mrs. Raina, Mrs. Kanta Kumar, Mr. and Mrs. Rajiv Bhargav, Mr. and Mrs. Radhesham, Mr. and Mrs. Gupta, my esteemed seniors from whom I have learned mechanical engineering, all the prize winners. When I was ERM Bombay, I used to attend Filmfare Awards. I had a dream that I shall have to have rail awards, and perhaps Mr. Rana has done it. And very soon we will have categories. We started with MSME, and we have many more such categories, and it's a lovely thing to see that rail industry is getting recognized. I wanted to come here, and that's why I made this promise to him, and I'm happy that I could keep it up and be present among the award winners, more important, among the people who have mattered in the past, who have made this railway the pride place to work, all the officers who have superannuated. I heard the presentations at the IIT Kharagpur Research Center and the call for some money for research. Let me assure you that we talk of money shortage, but if you really need it, we'll give that money for whatever funds we need for whatever project it is. And whether it is RDSO or any other place, if you really need it, that money is never short. The product point is that we got to feel the pinch that it is required. And for the Center of Research at Kharagpur, I have 2 projects to offer, which will send officially, of course, officially also. Since you are more in the area of research and experimentation, kindly see how do I handle the jerk in an LSB coach. When you travel and you don't know when it comes, when it will come, while you are standing or sleeping or walking. We have tried various ways, but it just refuses to go. Somehow it keeps on coming back and back. And second is, can you tell us how to avoid a rail fracture? We have around 9,000 fractures every year, and 6 or 7 of them result into a major accident. And it's difficult. We detect so many. 9,000 is a very big thing, and a lot of energy goes into it for restoration as well. But somehow we keep on making a mess again and again. Thank you very much, sir, and giving me this platform, and we wish the... And one thing I admire about rail business is the photograph. You know, you feel like seeing the crispness of the print. And I don't think even International Gallery Generals comes from Europe with matches anywhere near this. It's excellent. And tribute to whatever Photoshop you use, I don't know, or whatever you do, but hats off to you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now...
Since the CRT so kindly commented on the quality of our printing, if Mr. Sharma is still here, can I see him? Please come up, sir. It's not me who is pointing you out. Let me introduce Mr. Sharma, who is a local advertising agency well known in railway circles. He is the Photoshop guy. He can Photoshop my face and make me look smart. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I request our co-host, Mrs. Rana, to please come up to the stage. And we are almost reaching the end of the ceremony. Please, Sajima. We would like to express our gratitude, our thanks, and our respects to Honorable Chairman Railway Board. I would request him to please accept a token of love and affection from us, from Rail Business. Just one second, just one photo, one for the photo, please. Next. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. May I also request Mr. L.K. Sinha, ex-MN, to please come up and accept a token of our respect for being a part of the Rail Business team.
Hey, Joseph.
Mr. Chandrika Prasad, ex-AM Signal. And also Professor Aragede. You are our co-partner in railway research, so we are really looking forward to final results from all the studies which you are doing. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I now request Mr. V.K. Rana to take over. He'll say a few words about a very esteemed gentleman.
Railways runs in our blood. They say once a railwayman, always a railwayman. I can recognize a few non-railway persons here, so this is a very family gathering. I have the pleasure of introducing two very senior persons from the railways. Both are touching 91. May I request Mr. Vardachari, who is he? Please come and let people admire what once a railwayman, always a railwayman means. He and I are big partners these days. He messes up a lot of my deals, but he retired as AGM on the Eastern Railway. Now the other gentleman I have is another 91. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Another gentleman who is also 91. Not so well known in railway circles, runs around like hell across the railways trying to print something about the railways. If I had his passion, my magazine would be doing much better. Let me introduce Mr. S. Venkatraman, who retired in the stores department. He was DCOS in DLW. I think he retired 33 years ago. He is 91. Please come up. He is my role model, as the Beatles song goes, when I'm 94. I want to be him like him. And fortunately, physically I'm like him, lean and thin. But may I request Mrs. Rana, please. One of the complaints I have about Mr. Venkatraman, he never respects my copyright. He just prints everything from a magazine without asking me. Thank you very much. Mr. Anand Kumar, sir, Mrs. Kumar, ladies and gentlemen, all the general managers, thanks for your time. As I said, these are baby steps. Someday perhaps we'll have a Filmfare Award with segmentation, with Priyanka Chopra, who will be out of business then, coming and gracing the occasion, with a 90-year-old Amitabh Bachchan coming and Kaise ho, or something like that. Thank you very much. And now, the rest of the evening, please join this host is General Manager, Southeastern Railway. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you everybody. Thanks. God bless you.
May I request everybody to please come to the lawns where cultural program we have organized a cultural program which will be followed by dinner. Please.